Are the Vikings in big trouble this Sunday? We're going to be talking about it on today's show, as even though I think the Vikings will get a victory this Sunday in Lambeau Field, I do think if the Packers just do a couple things, then maybe they could take advantage of this Vikings team. And then later on today's show, we got a mailbag, and it is one of my favorite things we do here at Chat Sports, where I answer questions straight from our subscribers. So we'll dive into that in the second half of today's show. But before we do so, guys, if you guys want the Vikings to beat the Packers, type those skulls down below in the comments section. Even though the game is not at US Bank Stadium this weekend, I want it to look like US Bank Stadium in the live chat. Give me those skulls down below. Whoever comments the most skulls, by the way, I should give you a shout out on our watch party this Sunday. So my biggest concern with the Vikings traveling to Lambeau Field is that the Packers are able to dominate the trenches. Now, Kevin O'Connell and this Vikings team, they have clearly said this season they're going to be more physical. And it started at training camp with the Vikings letting these guys hit, with Kevin O'Connell playing the starters a little bit more in preseason. But still, I still think there's this narrative that maybe the Vikings are more of a finesse team, where the Packers are more of a physical, get downhill team. Now, I will say I do have the Vikings winning this football game. I think they're going to take full advantage of this, mediocre Packers defense. But, I had a lot of fans saying, oh, you're giving too much love to the Texans. I did a very similar video last week. But I just want to talk about where the Vikings could get beat, because I'm sure Kevin O'Connell and the crew are having these same conversations. Now, it starts with the rushing defense, as the Packers are the league's best rushing offense heading into this week, averaging 204 yards per game, which is first in the NFL, and they just rely on their new big bruising back, Aaron Jones, giving them 20-plus carries a game so far, going for 278 yards. They're really using him as that workhorse back with no A.J. Dillon and obviously no Aaron Jones anymore. But it's not like he's had these big plays. It's just been 3, 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, hence why it's came to average out at 4.5 yards a clip. But, the Vikings rush defense, they have been good. So I will give them their credit there, where it's not like, Vikings are the 15th ranked rushing defense and you're going against the best. Like, no, this is strength for strength this weekend. And if you're able to get the Packers in 3rd and long, Jordan Love coming off a sprained MCL with what Brian Flores likes to do in those positions, it should be a long day for the Packers offense if the Vikings can take away that running game. Now, how can you match their physicality when you're on offense? Well, you get the ball to these two guys, Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. Now, Aaron Jones, I was calling him the most underrated free agent signing before the year, and I will stay calling him that, as I think he has changed life for this Vikings offense, because now it's not all about Justin Jefferson. You got to count for number 33 as well, and 100 receiving yards, 230 rushing yards. He's been awesome. Then even his backup, Ty Chandler, like, he had that awesome game against the Niners when he went for over 80 yards, but still him averaging 4.5 yards per carry is fantastic. Now, even the advanced numbers for Jones are great this year. Rushing yards over expected, my favorite stat when evaluating running backs. He's plus 52. That's top 6 in the National Football League. Rushing yards over expected per attempt, top 7 in the league at 1.24, 10-plus yard runs, 6, and missed tackles forced at 11. He's been one of the better backs in the league. That's why my prediction for this offense this week, I think Kevin O'Connell's game plan is all going to be about the run game. I think he wants to run the ball 40-plus times, if not 50-plus times, against the Green Bay Packers. I think that's what his game plan is going to be, understanding that the Packers do have some dogs in that secondary. They got Xavier McKinney. They got Jair Alexander. Where can you take advantage? Run straight at Kenny Clark, straight at Preston Smith, straight at whoever that one edge is that they have. But you guys know what I'm talking about. But just run straight at those guys, get downhill, play physical football. And I think there is no doubt that the Vikings will be celebrating a 4th straight victory Monday. 4-0. It could happen. You just got to match up physicality and get a little tougher in the trenches, and I think we'll be all right. But, another big storyline heading into Sunday's game is, who's the better head coach, Kevin O'Connell or Matt LaFleur? Well, if you think it's KOC, type it KOC. But if you're riding with the Packers head coach, give me an ML down below in the comments section. I'll make this a pinned comment on today's show. So if YouTube throws an ad break your way, sit back, let it play, and answer today's pinned comment of picking who the better head coach is between Kevin O'Connell and Matt LaFleur. Now, first question in on our mailbag coming in from Garrett Rusborough, saying Packers are overrated. defense's average. Now, yeah, this is not an elite Packers defense by any means, but they are good. Like, it's not just a defense where it's like the Commanders or, the Panthers, where you can going into that game, you're like, yeah, Vikings offense should be able to roll. You're still gonna have to go out there and execute, but I think with the run game, running hard this weekend sets up the play action for Jefferson. And if you get Addison back, like Addison cooked this Packers team last year, he will do even better this year with Justin Jefferson in the lineup. So, Garrett, I appreciate you. Shout out to you. Tang Yang coming in saying, I want KOC to call a Cunningham special with Darnold, hand the ball off, and Jones pitch it back to Sam for a deep ball to JJ. Would be nice to see it. So Tang Yang's calling for a flea flicker this Sunday. Yeah, I'd be all in on it. It would definitely be very cool. Vikings are running the ball hard all game. Get it to Aaron Jones. He pitches it back to Darnold, and we're setting it up for the deep shot to Jefferson in Lambeau. Maybe that's a little fourth quarter play call, but Tang Yang, I'll remember this, and if this Sunday this comes to fruition, I'll give you some love on a future show. But we'll get to more questions here in a second, but quickly want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and you guys can get some Vikings hoodies up to 50% off if you check out this link, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. Link for that is in the comments and description of today's show, but check them out if you guys want to get some more Vikings merch in your life. Blake Pearson saying updates on Ivan Pace, Jordan Addison, and Dallas Turner. Still waiting for the injury reports to come out for the week, as I do have the one from Wednesday's practice. But Kevin O'Connell did say earlier this week that he expects all of them to be good to go. But just from Wednesday, Garrett Bradbury, DNP, that's just a rest day. Ivan Pace did not practice, but Sam Darnold did participate in full, so he'll be out there. But Turner, Oliver, Hill, Bullard, and Addison all limited. But in terms of those three guys, Pace questionable, I would say, but I think Addison and Turner will both be ready to go. Tom Miles coming in saying, does number 33 Aaron Jones get over 100 yards rushing this weekend? It is actually my guarantee. That is my guarantee heading into this week, is that number 33 Aaron Jones will go for 150 yards total, 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to do it, man. I think this revenge game is going to really, really happen. And I think I can just see all the sad Packers fans after the game. It's going to be like, man, we should have kept Aaron Jones. Josh Jacobs only ran for 50 yards today, where Aaron Jones found the end zone twice, went for over 150 yards. So, wishful thinking there, maybe drinking a little too much purple Kool-Aid. But, yeah, I think AJ is going to have a big day. Blake Pearson saying, #Vikings, would trading for Lattimore be crazy? I don't know if it would be crazy. Lattimore's a great player. It's just, you talk about his contract, and just his injury history over the past couple of years. It is a big reason why I would be against it. Now, if it's for a 6th, 7th round pick, maybe, but you just don't want to have to deal with the cap hit of $31.4 million in 2026, a $28.6 million cap hit. I guarantee you, even if Lattimore comes to the Vikings and he's great this year on that cap hit, we'll be talking about him next year and the year after as a potential cut candidate. So for me, probably only a 6th round pick. Jeremy Fowler said a 3rd round pick maybe, but I would probably be against on that. Skylar saying, should Minnesota go all in and trade for Hassan Reddick? I'm going to say no. And, Hassan Reddick's a good player, but I think the Vikings edge group's fine. I don't think you need to add anybody. I would rather add to the interior of the defensive line, maybe a guy like Jeffrey Simmons. But Hassan Reddick, he wants to get paid. Vikings aren't going to pay him. And, plus you got, guys like Patrick Jones stepping up. Even a guy like Dallas Turner who really hasn't done anything, hasn't played too much this season. You're hoping that he'll be good to go. Here's Shoreline. He's getting some real reps in the near future. But trading for an edge, I just don't think it would be, too smart for the Vikings. And Matt coming in saying, #Vikings, if the Vikings are 7-1 at the trade deadline, would you trade a 2025 first for Dexter Lawrence? 110%. I understand the Vikings only have 3 draft picks next year, but Dexter Lawrence is 26 years old. You'd be paying for a guy who is in his prime, and this would just add a superstar to a position of need for this football team. This would take this defense to, in my opinion, it is the best in the National Football League, but they know how to be talking about this defense potentially being one of the best of all time, because you would have stars at literally every position, like Lawrence, Van Ginkel, Jones and Grenard and Harrison Phillips on that line. Then you got Cashman and Payson at the linebacker spot, and then just how good the secondary has been playing this year. Yeah, 100%. I think it would take more, though. I think it would probably take a first and a future third. And I also just don't think the Giants would be willing to trade for him. But, and Mac, I appreciate you getting that question in there. But Blake Pearson coming in saying, are the Vikings contenders or pretenders? Blake, I got some great news for you. I think they are contenders. I think, if you just look at the process over the last 3 weeks, not just the results, it's been great. They've looked good on film, and they haven't really had, too much like luck plays. Like I consider like fluky turnovers, like the Will Levis pick six to the Bears. That was just the Bears getting lucky. Or like block punts, like the Vikings have had one of them. Or like punt returns, kick returns. I think those are lucky plays. But overall, I just think the Vikings have been just kicking the shit out of teams, just being the better football team, out there any given week. So no doubt, I think they're contenders. Blake. Wazazy coming in saying, is our O-line back to 100%? Yeah, they should be. Christian Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill are all good after that game. So, no concerns there. They both did go down, but, they should be all good. Not in the injury report today. So, no real concerns for that offensive line. So, yeah, appreciate you, Wazazy, getting that question in there. Tom Wiles, though, last question, saying, do you think Gilmore will get a pick six? This weekend? Obviously I gotta say yes to this, Tom Miles. I hope so, man. I really do hope so. Like Stephon Gilmore's been fantastic this year for the Vikes. Um, it's not like I was concerned about him maybe losing a step, but him being older, it was definitely a possibility. And it's how smart he is as a football player. He's great in trail coverage. Using his safety help, using the sidelines as a help. Like even though he's not the same athlete that he once was winning depoys in New England, like he is still a very, very effective football player. So we'll wrap up today's show with this. Week 4 in Lambeau Field. Predict the score for me down below. Vikings versus Packers. I got 27-17. You guys let me know down below. Also, give me a follow on Twitter. That's the handle right there, @PatSeeps. See you guys next time. As always, go Vikes.